All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Soft Elbows. Um, Abby's in her car somewhere, and
Shocking.
I'm your other host from my usual spot in my home,
Okay,
not in a
you've been in your
vehicle.
car several times. I don't want to hear it, Steve.
I
This
don't
is why we're
know.
fighting. Once again, this is why we're fighting.
Yes, the breaking news that we have to bring you from Soft
Yeah.
Elbows is that earlier this week, Abby decided to just be in a fight with me. I'm not sure why. I don't think she's sure why. Abby, would you
um,
care to comment on this feud that apparently we're in?
you did start it. For the record, you started it. Actually, oh no, yeah, okay, that's right. That's how it started. Um, Big Jake said something about how Steve was his favorite influencer, and I screenshotted it and I sent it to Steve. And Steve said that Big Jake is his favorite national caliber athlete when present company has been to nationals several times. And so I decided that this would be a really fun bit to commit to, and just that I would be mad at Steve because this is also apparently a few of you were very concerned that Steve and I were not getting along a few weeks ago, and we never addressed it, which we've always gotten along up until this point. This is where I
Sure.
drew the line, was when Steve decided that he wanted to
Right.
say that he likes
Yeah.
Big Jake better than he likes me. So we're fighting. The
Okay.
girls are fighting.
Yeah. Yes, we did set the local weightlifting scene aflutter during our episode with Christian Carter, where apparently Abby, our vibes were too low. We've set a high standard. We gotta bring a
We
lot of
do.
energy to these shows because if we don't,
Because if we don't, people think we're fighting.
and we're not fighting until you say we're fighting for reasons that are unclear
Exactly.
to most people.
Exactly. That is
Okay.
that is how it works here. I do make the rules.
You do make the rules. When Abby decided that we were fighting, she literally said to me, I want everyone to know it. And then immediately texted everyone on the WSO board in the DMV area, Steve and I are fighting. And they didn't know what to do with that. Although
Yeah.
I will give credit to Brian. Brian immediately went, I'm on Team Steve.
Yeah, I also, unbeknownst to Steve, I did text like 10 people and I said,
It's
Steve and I
not
are fighting.
unbeknownst to me. They all reached out to me and said that I was in their shit in their doghouse.
Well, not everybody, because there was somebody else who took your side and uh yeah, anyway. But
Um,
that's been fun. The
and
memes will be elite. The memes coming out of that, which the memes will have been posted by the time this podcast airs. So like, hopefully you guys will circle back in our comments and let me know if the memes were in fact elite about this new bit of mine.
as a sports fan, this time of year is always tough because the NBA finals are over, the NHL, the Stanley Cup finals are over with. Baseball's in that period where you want to care, but you don't really care yet because
No,
it's not quite the fall. Training
no.
camp for football is kind of getting started, but it's, like I can only watch people throw meaningless passes to random people who aren't going to be on the team in a couple weeks for so long. I just can't get excited about that. And this is what it feels like in the weightlifting calendar right now, where we're in that post nationals
Yeah,
period where there's not really anything of substance to talk about. So we got to manufacture drama, and here we are talking
yeah.
about a feud that isn't actually real, but that we're trying to make it seem real so that people will tune in because we're desperate for attention. Please love us,
I do
please.
appreciate, Steve, that like just from a friendship perspective, I appreciate that you immediately committed to the bit and you didn't actually think that I was like genuinely mad at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Um, do you want to share the results of the second poll you put out this week, which was who's your favorite local DMV weightlifting podcaster?
Yeah, rounding out the bottom was Steve.
Thank you,
Four of
thank you.
four of you voted for
Yeah.
Steve. Two of those individuals were in on the bit. So I think the results may have been a little skewed there. I don't know if
What
that's
are
their actual position.
what do their names rhyme with?
Are we not? We're name dropping. Schmig Schmake and Mr. Mamonaris.
Love that, love that. And the other two, who are my other two loyal disciples? I've
I
only
don't
got
know
four of
their
them out
names
there.
because I've not met them, and so I felt like it was definitely them trying to start real beef with me. I did
Nice.
take it personally.
I love that you took this personally immediately. You've never met
Immediately.
these people and assume now that they are sworn enemies of you.
Yeah.
I assume that this was like a Supreme Court 5-4 decision. Was it like a real tight, like you only got 5 votes? I just assumed it was a low poll
I
turnout
did
kind of thing.
I did only get like 6 votes because by and large everyone really likes my elbow the best. Everyone
Well,
says that my elbow is the best host.
it's looking great, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah,
She's a little stiff today, but she did snatch 75 kilos a few. Oh fuck me. Where did it go? There I am. I'm
there
back.
you are.
I don't know what just happened, but anyway, she did snatch 75 kilos a few days ago, so it's kind of like understandable that my elbow is going to be a little stiff, maybe a little sore from that, because that is definitely a post-surgery PR. And I'm very happy about it.
So, and I mean, 75 is good for uh, many people. Where does that rank? I know your top numbers were what in the 90 range.
Yeah, my best snatch was 91.
Okay.
92 if you're a press out non-believer and you count my 92 from WSO last year. Um, I'm not still bitter about that, not at all.
I
Uh,
love how healthy of a state you're in. You and Abby Chambers are doing a lot of quality work here.
Yeah, doing amazing. And then yeah, so 75 over 91, we're looking at like 83-ish% back.
That's not bad
Somebody
for what? How many months has it been?
Yeah, it's been 4 months. Oh my
So
god, yeah, it's been 4 months. 4 months and a couple weeks.
4 months post elbow reconstruction surgery, and you're already hitting 80%. That's great.
Yeah, that's exciting. It's tough sometimes to not get lost in the weeds. With everything, everybody being so transparent in social media. Well, not transparent. That's the wrong word. Let
That
me
is definitely the wrong
take
word
that
for what people
statement
are on
back.
social media. That is for sure the wrong word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna leave that section in because I want to like own my mistake, and I'm gonna be transparent that I made an oops with my words.
What a
Um,
meta, what a meta moment for this show.
Yeah. So, no, like on social media, it's tough because people share a lot of things and they share a lot of progress and they share a lot of thoughts. And, I would be lying if I said that it didn't get to me. Like when I see somebody else who has, something similar going on, like shockingly, there's a lot of elbow injuries out there right now. And it's tough sometimes when I see somebody who is like, they're 90% back and, their timeline was shorter than mine, or like, it's really hard to stay in my lane and not compare. Um, but, to Steve's point, like that's kind of why I have Abby in my corner. It's why I have Steve in my corner. Like, Carly DeRose is very much in my corner. Janice Rhett out of PR Barbell, like just a few people that really help me keep things in perspective and keep me focused on my own progress so that I don't get lost in the world of like, oh, but this person is doing better, so my progress is stupid. So yeah.
We often talk about like it's a suboptimal thing to compare yourself to others on social media or anywhere else. But I'm curious, and you touched on it a little bit, but for you specifically, what is it about the comparison that makes it such an appealing thing for you? Like, if we have to resist it, that means that there's a draw to it, right? What is the draw
Right.
to the comparison for you?
Well, so for me, like the draw is like I'm hungry to get back to where I was, right? I want to be the girl that's snatching 91, 92 kilos. I want to be the girl that gets to think about, okay, this record, this WSO record. I've never held a record before in anything in my life. And like
That's not true.
it was
You're the most favorite DMV WSO podcaster. One vote,
okay. Well,
one vote in a
up
row.
until all right, so up until this point, I've never held a record before. And so, like, it's just that's something that's important to me within my weightlifting goals and my weightlifting journey. And so, I want to be that girl that gets to go to nationals every year. I want to be the girl that gets to think about records and think about what's next. And, like, it's appealing to think about where I could be. and where I want to be and to where I think I'm going to end up. And so like I have to rein myself in and trust the process and, you know, just take it day by day. And I can't think about the goals. Like I was just talking to somebody recently about like I was having a tough training day or something. Like there was some cue that I was like struggling to like grasp. And they were like, you know, you shouldn't like what you shouldn't be thinking about numbers, like you're just doing X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, honest to God, like I'm not even thinking about the weight on the bar right now. Like when I get excited, it's because I did something correctly. But once again, to Steve's point, like it's tough to not think about where I want to be. And it's tough to really not think about the goals and to think about the big numbers.
So
Because
go ahead.
those
I'm
are
sorry.
cool, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So when you and I mean this matter of factly, not judgmentally. Like when you find yourself kind of falling into the comparison trap, is
Mhm.
it? Sorry, there's a mosquito in my house. It's annoying me. Um, do you find yourself like is the comparison to like past Abby, or is the comparison to someone else who you're seeing do X, Y, and Z on social media?
Both, truly. Because sometimes, like, I see old videos of myself, and I'm like, oh, shit, I was so strong. Um, and that's tough. And so, like, I just don't look, or if I do, it's, immediately, like, I ground myself in, no, like, you're trusting the process. It's okay that you're not back here yet. When I see others on social media, it's as simple as I'm going to keep scrolling. And I kind of talked about that a little bit right after surgery about how like I was like I had profiles that were muted because I really just didn't want to see what everyone was doing. I didn't want to see the commentary. And so now I'm at a point where like nobody's muted, but I'm gonna scroll past if I know that in my heart of hearts that seeing what they're doing is going to make me think about where, you know, the goal number
Yeah.
and is going to derail from the process.
Do you have like benchmarks or markers that you've like kind of put in the near distance that you're working towards right now?
75 was one of them.
Okay,
Um,
great.
75 was one of them. And I feel like I'm at a good point with snatches specifically where I can start to think about numbers again and thinking about goal numbers. Um, 80 is kind of my next benchmark for the snatch. I will be ecstatic the next time I hit 80. Um, and it's funny. So honestly, anytime I hit one of my little benchmarks, Steve, Brian, and Chris all get a text. um, because like, you know, there's just some people that like you want to share these things with before they see it online. And not to get sappy, but you know, Steve, Brian, and Chris are some of those people for me. So, you know, I whenever I hit a benchmark, it like they get to know almost right away that it was achieved. Cleans is a little bit of a different story because
Okay.
I am still not thrilled with my technical progress on them, and so I'm not really like thinking about okay, what number do I want to hit next? It's I know how I want to feel with cleans
Okay.
before I start thinking about numbers again. And split jerks, we haven't pushed at all. Like I think I've split jerked 75 and it felt really good. But we haven't pushed past that at this point.
Is there? I don't know if you're able to describe like a difference, or I guess how would you describe the difference in the feeling doing the snatch movement, which is overhead, doing the jerk movement, which is also overhead, but doing the clean
Hmm.
movement, which is kind of more of like it's a different rotational movement than either of the
Yeah.
other two.
Yeah, it is. It's so different. And actually, so cleans, that's the mobility that I struggle with now post surgery the most. I spend a lot of time after like I'm snatching, just like getting my elbow to like bend at all. Like as you can see, so this is my elbow, right?
That is your
This
elbow.
is
Yeah.
this is where it goes. This is what
Yeah.
happens when I try to do a front rack without weight. This is how it should be. As you can see, it's a big difference. And it takes a lot of warming up for me to get this down, down. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to achieve that in the car because again, it takes so much. And so Anyway, the difference kind of being like I want to feel my clean, like I want to be able to feel like I'm catching it smoothly. I want to feel like I'm um not like shrimping when I catch them, because
Yeah.
that's kind of been a side effect of not being able to do so much of this. Is my front squats are very shrimpy, my cleans are very shrimpy when they get heavy. And so, there's the elbow mobility portion of it, and then there's just the upper body rack strength portion of it that like I really need to rebuild my rack strength before I can kind of start thinking about like a heavy clean.
The nerdy programmer in me is now curious. Like, what accessory work are you doing to kind of build, the all the little stuff that you need to get that good, big, proud, tall front rack position, not
Yeah,
like the shrimpy stuff that you were talking about.
shrimpy. Rack holds.
Okay.
I do a lot of those like in my warm-ups and stuff with the mobility. We do jerk drives is something that I've like learned how to do recently. Like I've never done those in the past. Like Mario may have given them to me like once or twice. Ooh, sorry, a big bug just flew on my windshield. It's scary. Um, oh, he's really gross. I don't like that I see out of the corner of my
It's
eye.
okay. There's a whole sheet of glass between you and that bug. You are totally
Big
safe.
bug. I'm gonna keep my hand over him so that I don't have to look at him. Sorry, Steve.
That's not weird. No.
It's not. Thank you. Um, yeah. So jerk drives, rack holds, a million billion gajillion front squats, which, my front squat is pretty poverty right now. I Yeah, just and that was kind of what helped me the last time. Like I've always kind of had this issue, and my clean has always been a bit of a deficit from like everything else that I do. And the way that we got my clean to, catch up with my split jerk and my front squat to catch up with my split jerk was just doing a million billion front squats. Like really high volume, doing a lot of beltless stuff, pause front squats. I see those in my near future. Tempo front squats, which I don't like very much at all, but I see those in my future. And those were the easiest ways that my front rack strength and my clean and my front squat just like went through the roof. Was the second we started adding like that time under tension and having to hold it, like just weight, bear weight for that
Right.
time,
Yeah.
in a good position. That was when things started happening.
Okay. You mentioned like needing work on your front squat, as do I. I don't even have the excuse of I recently had a surgery. I've never had a serious surgery.
Uh-huh.
Knock on that glass that you were using to shield yourself from that bug.
The
Um,
bug's gone, by the way.
thank God.
Gone.
But because I enjoy suffering, can I tell you what I'm doing for training these days?
I too like suffering. Please tell me what you're doing for
All
training.
right. So last fall, you've heard of the small off squat program?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
So
I
I've
have.
done small off. For anyone who doesn't know, is a I don't know how old it is. It's been around for a long time.
Russian
From
shit.
What's that? Yeah, it's a Russian squat program. But it's brutal. It's designed for the back squat. And it's just like it's very, very difficult. I've survived. I don't know. Done implies that I did it well, which I for sure did not. But I've survived small off for back squat several different times in my career. But I decided last fall to do small off, but for front squat
Interesting.
and for strict press. Um,
Oh.
and if you're wondering, did I adjust any of the percentages? Nope. Did I adjust any of the volume? Nope. And it was brutal. It was so brutal. But I also really enjoyed it. And I didn't find that my like top end numbers went up that much. They went up a little bit in each, but like not like it wasn't like, you hear stories
Yeah.
of people who are like, oh my God, I put 100 pounds on my back squat when I did small off. Like, I don't know that those are real stories, but like the top end numbers went up a little bit, but the thing that I
Yeah.
found most useful for it, particularly with the front squat, was my ability to come out of the bottom of a clean at heavier
Mhm.
percentages improved. Um, and I also felt like I had better stability overhead because of all the strict pressing. So after I finished that program, I got I went back to doing snatch, clean, jerk, that kind of stuff. And even though I hadn't split jerked, very seriously in a couple months, it's a 13-week program. I found that it was easier for me to get back up to my top end numbers because that stability was there. So anyway, that was miserable in all of the ways that I enjoy, and so I've decided to do it again. And so I'm currently in week 2, and for anyone who cares about my demise, I'm happy to provide updates as we go on this journey.
Nice. I certainly would like updates, please.
Really, the only thing you're looking forward to is getting a video from Chris one day being like, this is how Steve died, like at the bottom of a front squat. Couldn't do anymore.
I mean, that would be kind of karmic retribution for the one that the little snip you sent yesterday. Chris loaded his bar like a jerk, and Steve made sure that I knew about it.
Had to. I had to redeem myself from this make-believe feud we're in. Maybe that will get me back in your good graces.
That's what that was. Nice.
We have a very special guest
anymore.
We have a very special guest who hopefully will be joining us in just a few minutes. Kristen Garaffo, who is a lifter from Tough Temple, but more importantly, Abby's arch rival when it comes to local competition meet announcing.
All right, we're beefing again. Steve and I might have beef. I don't have beef with anybody in the DMV who does anything ever.
It's not what I heard. Not what I heard. Anyway, Kristen did a great job announcing at Tough Temple Open. Or sorry, Tough Temple Open. Yeah. And so we decided, since we're trying as desperately as we can to come up with drama in this cold period of weightlifting news, we're going to bring her on the show and let her and Abby settle this once and for all. But we got a few minutes before she joins us. Wanted to mention a couple of things that are coming up in the DMV area. Well, actually, the first one is not in the DMV area. The first one is AO2 is coming up. That's later in August. We're going to preview that. We're going to have, I'm sure, as did last year, we're going to have a ton of folks from the DMV area who are going to compete there. That's in Fort Worth again. Abby, are you going to AO2?
No.
Yeah, I'm not either. But we'll have we'll send a representative. We'll do man on the street. What's that?
When is it again?
End of August.
But like specifically, which weekend is that?
I love that you think that I've been intentionally vague in every reference up to this point. And I was just secretly hiding the fact that I did in fact know the actual dates of that meet. Stand by, Abby. Your context clues, your ability to pick up on context clues are lacking. One moment.
This is great. While Steve is doing that, we also, I do believe that
August 28th through August 31st in Fort Worth,
you cut
Texas.
me off. We're definitely beefing again.
Listen, you wanted that information. I'm here to deliver.
I did. Thank you very much. Yeah, I definitely will not be there. I'll be at a wedding that weekend. Unfortunate. I don't know. Like I've got some flight hookups, so like maybe I'll pop into another meet later this year. Maybe I'll be on the live stream commentary. Maybe, who's to say?
What a globetrotter you are. Also, I think what you should do is just live stream the live stream like you did for Nationals.
Again?
We're going to keep doing that until the USAW sends a cease and desist order.
Live at my roommate's wedding. That would be amazing. Oh my god, can you imagine? Look, Julie, congrats.
But before AO2, there's going to be a USA Weightlifting Level 1 course. It's going to be hosted at CHFP in Alexandria, Virginia. That's August 9th and 10th. Yeah. That will be hosted by Carrhead Slaughter, who, for anyone who doesn't know, was an Olympian and is also a very, very good coach. So if you're looking to get your Level 1, that's a good one to sign up for. It'll be a good time. I don't think we have any other... they did announce the dates for Fall Brawl. We might as well announce that here. That
Yes.
was what, October 9th and 10th?
Nope, October 18th.
Like I said, October 18th, 2025. East Coast Gold, we'll do that fall brawl. That's down in Virginia Beach. We went last year. Maybe we'll
Are you
go
going
again
with
this
me
year.
again this year?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay,
I'll
let's
go
do it.
down there and lift in Big Jake's session again. That was fun. Oh, that was spring cling. But either way,
And that's enough about Big Jake, because in more important topics, we have our guest with us, Steve.
Kristen Garaffo, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Kristen, this is a big moment for Abby because Abby's never had to feel the pressure of another talented local meet announcer before, and you applied so much pressure at Tough Temple, and it delighted me to no end because I don't know if you can tell, Abby is so nervous. She had to record this show in her car. She couldn't even bear to be inside of her home for the recording. That's how shooketh she is.
Oh my gosh. Nuh-uh.
Steve, this is why we're beefing, Steve.
In all seriousness, Kristen, you are you live with Tough Temple, right?
I do.
How long have you been lifting?
So actually I've been like lifting on and off since like 2017, but
nice.
this is my first full year, like 2025, of just doing barbell.
What have you been like mixing in with it previously?
CrossFit.
Of course. Were you doing that at Tough Temple as well, or were you doing that somewhere else?
Yeah, no, I was. So I've kind of, again, I've been doing CrossFit for a really long time. So I was at Tough Temple from, again, like 2017, 2018, took a break in 2019. The pandemic happened. I moved. I went to another CrossFit gym. That one closed. So then I went back to Tough Temple. So I've kind of like bounced around, but like it was actually really wonderful to come back to Tough Temple because, you know, obviously like they're great and awesome. And the only reason I stopped going was because I moved a little bit further away. But I'm so happy to be back. They're great.
Right. And so what made you want to kind of dive further in this year?
Yeah. So it's a couple things like with CrossFit, like from the very beginning, like I love the barbell. I love all the strength parts of CrossFit. And the short version is I got an injury. I injured basically like my low back, my glute, doing heavy back squats. And I put basically like PT and like taking care of it, put it off for months. When I finally did, I had to basically just like ease my way in, obviously, like back into training. And I just found that CrossFit, like the volume of CrossFit was just not the greatest for recovery. So I switched to barbell, and I basically started in January and just never left. Cause obviously I like the barbell. I like the strength part. You know, like within CrossFit, like the barbell was always my favorite. And I think I actually like made peace with like, you know what? I don't ever have to do gymnastics ever again. Like I don't have to run if I don't want to. Like I could just do barbell and like live my life and be really happy about it. And like the pace of weightlifting, I think is really good for me and my body and like my injury and yeah, and it's been great.
Great.
I've had a good time this year.
As you're back, I don't know if you're back to like full health or like where are you at with the injury?
Yeah, so the injury happened 2 years ago. So like end of June. So I guess it's been a little bit more than 2 years. Again, it took me like months to actually get it taken care of. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if I will ever be like 1000% like back to what I was. Like I still kind of am like a little bit like cautious around it, and certain things I like don't do, but I am so much better than what I was before. And like, even like I was at a point where like, I couldn't even deadlift an empty barbell. Like it just sucked, but I'm so happy to be back and it's all good.
And we are happy to have you back. I wanted to talk. I mean, you're kind of a good example of exactly what we need with volunteering for local weightlifting competitions. You know, every year we have, I don't know, it seems like we've got, 7 or 8 local meets. And then everybody, it's always such a challenge to find enough volunteers. Was Tough Temple the first meet that you had A, been to, or B, volunteered at?
So it was my first one that I volunteered at.
Okay.
I competed in January.
Nice.
So that was good. But obviously competing is much different than volunteering
Sure.
and being an event run. But yeah, because it was, at Tough Temple, because we were hosting, of course, we were looking for volunteers. And like, I was like, okay, like I'll help like sign people up, or I'll do like weigh-ins, whatever. And then my coach was like, I think you'd be a good announcer. And I was like, oh, you can do that? Like, I had zero clue that like that was a volunteer position and that it was a thing. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And yeah, and I jumped in, and it was cool. It was fun.
It was your first time volunteering at a weightlifting meet, but had you like done announcing adjacent tasks before? Like what were you just like thrown into this and you're like, I'll figure it out?
Yeah, no, I was very much thrown into it. I actually thought that the first session, I thought I was going to shadow the first time. And it wasn't until, I don't know, it must have been like 20 minutes before. And I went up to John because I was talking with Scott, because Scott, is the technology guy. And I was like, am I shadowing you? And he was like, I don't think so. And so we had to like go double check with John, and John was like, yeah, no, you're on. So I was like, okay, great, let's do it. Yeah, so I do have a theater background. Like I used to do theater professionally.
Okay.
So like I've done like voiceover work, but I've never ever done like an announcing thing like this.
Okay, but like the act of performing is not new to you.
Yeah, like
Okay.
that.
So that definitely helps.
Yeah, and I think that's why my coach was like, "Oh, you'd be good at this," and I was like,
You mentioned your coach, John Weeks. He was the one who informed you 20 minutes before that, in fact, you would be shadowing no one and you were just going to do it.
Yes.
Did he give you any like parameters, guidelines, anything, or is he just like, here's the mic, you figure it out?
Yeah, so I will say that it was my coach Neil. Neil was the one who was like,
I'm sorry. I thought
yeah,
John. My fault.
like John Weeks is obviously the coach too. But yeah, it was all Scott. Scott was the hero that day, because I was like, Scott, just tell me exactly what I need to say, and he, basically was like, okay, he like told me everything. So I don't know, like, I know that there was a live stream and you can like watch it back. I think I did the first 3 sessions. I think I got like better every single session. And like the first session, I like, again, had no
Usually
idea
how it goes.
Yeah. I had no idea I was in charge of the clock. Didn't know that like I had to do start and stop. I didn't know like I had to line lifters up. I was like, oh, okay. Like it was all on the fly. It was crazy.
So for folks that have never been, who've never competed in a weightlifting competition or who haven't like seen the back, when she says, I have to line people up, it's the announcer's job. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. It's the announcer's job before all of the lifters, before each session. Every lifter goes out onto the platform. They announce each lifter. They say what club they represent. Everybody claps, and then the lifters go back and they start, or they keep warming up. But it's the announcer's job to kind of like herd all the sheep to get everyone to get ready, because they got to be in a particular order to go out onto the stage. And you get a lot, I imagine you guys get a lot of, I'll be there in just 1 second, like, because they are not concerned with the fact that you're trying to keep the trains on time, running on time. So, lifters are trying to warm up. They're not worried about the announcer. They, in some cases, have never met the announcer. They don't like have any like you're not my dad kind of like, but the announcer has to get them lined up in time to get the session started on time, because among the things that people love to complain about local meets is that they don't run on time. And oftentimes, I don't know how to break this to all of you lifters, it's your fault. So listen to your announcers. Listen to your announcers when they tell you they need you to line up, and then we can get everything moving. Keep it going smoothly. Guys, no, just me.
Luckily, everyone seemed to line up pretty promptly when I did it. I just like had to wait, because I'm just like slowly watching the clock tick by. And this is my very first time doing it. So I was like, Scott, do I go now? Like, and everyone was like, yeah. And I was like, no, okay. So I'm grateful that the lifters, at least in my sessions, were all pretty prompt and lined up pretty.
So it's just Abby that they don't listen to.
Okay. They give me the Gen Z stare where they're like, you say their name and they're just like,
No.
It's like that, and a lot of people will be like, wait, where do I go again? And I think that's kind of like the challenges I face. It's like, I don't know, people will like line up pretty quickly. It's the other stuff that, anyway.
Yeah.
So my
I
rant was
digress.
entirely unjustified. I just like torched like every lifter in the local
No,
area for no reason.
it's not that it's unjustified. I still think it's their fault when things don't move on time, because people do be taking advantage of that clock, but that's neither here nor there.
Tough Temple did also like put like literal numbers on the ground, and it was like and arrows on the floor, right? Like there were taped arrows. It was like, go here, go here. So, like,
That
Tough
was
Temple
nice.
did a good job.
I would like us to steal that idea for WSO. Like, make it just really, really idiot proof.
Now, Kristen, you said you announced the first 3 sessions. Was it apparent to you immediately that you were better at this than Abby, or did it take you until the 3rd session to really figure that part out?
I literally didn't have anything to compare to because I was the first 3, so I didn't know. And like I haven't even been to other meets to like really know what announcing is supposed to be or not to be. I think Abby is amazing.
Wow.
Abby, let me ask that question in reverse then. How long did it take watching Kristen announce before you were like, man, that's what it looks like. That's the way it should be done?
For me, once again, Steve, I'm going to just echo that I am very secure in my abilities as a WSO representative and person within the community, that you can't shake me. That being said, I feel like I don't know. I like when different announcers have like different flair, like they have different things. Everyone knows that I'm the person that says slabs of beef, and everyone gives me a pity laugh for it. And, I think a little bit of variety is good. I think that's healthy.
Kristen, did you find I've announced a couple times, Abby's done it far more than I have, but I found like, and maybe you have a different perspective because you came from like a performance background, but like I found myself like circling back to like the same like 3 or 4 phrases because like my brain wasn't like, I couldn't think outside of the box in that moment. So I was like, oh, this feels safe. I'll just say this again.
Yeah, for sure. Like, again, I think if you watch the live stream back, I think you can see, like, I find, like, a rhythm and a cadence, like, yeah. And, like, it's just easier, especially when, so the loaders switched each session. And, like, there was, I think it was the second one, but there were 4 of them and they were so fast. So I feel like that definitely kept me on my toes and kept me, like, I don't know, kept my own pace, like, I don't know. Like it was kind of a cool back and forth, like with the loaders and me, like the announcer. And again, that was just like, I don't know, something that I was learning on the fly was like, okay. And also like, even when like all of the changes would pop up on the screen, like the first session, I was like kind of surprised by it. And then I was like, oh, do I say? And then Scott was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. So like, again, I was learning as I was going. But then, by the 3rd session, I was like, okay, like weight is changing, lifters are changing, the loaders are moving really fast, like, and then I got into a rhythm. But yeah, that first session was probably a little wonky, but we made it.
I like how there's no manual for this stuff. Like you just you're either thrust into the role and you figure it out, or like somebody has to tell you, but like there's no directions for like how to do this. You just have to figure it out. It's sink or swim. It's the purest form of sink or swim.
Yeah. And I also like didn't know like, as far as like commentary or like even just like cheering lifters on, like I feel like I had to kind of hold myself back because I didn't want to like, I don't know, but then I like rewatched some of your stuff, Abby, and you're like completely the opposite. You were like cheering and like doing, and I was like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. Cool.
I don't think Abby knows whether she can do that either. She just does it.
But I make my own rules.
Yeah,
I just do it. I do it whether it's allowed or not. It's a local meet. Like, what am I gonna do? Not cheer on my friends?
Just stand there, stone-faced, no emotion. You can't be subjective. You are a keeper of record. You can't let them know that you've got biases and favorites.
I'm not a human. I'm a robot that speaks into a microphone.
Did you get to? I know you said you announced the first 3 sessions. Did you get a chance to do any other volunteer roles that weekend, or was it just those 3? I say just those 3. That's a lot of time. I don't mean to like.
That is a lot of time.
Like I did, it was just those 3, and I was definitely like, I went home and I like passed out. Like I was completely exhausted, and I was like, I can't believe that people are still volunteering and like volunteering the next day. Because it was not only is like 3 sessions was, I don't know, like half a day, but I think just like the amount of energy and attention it takes to just like stay focused on obviously the lift, but then like the timer and like the loaders and like all of it. I just feel like it was like I needed to be hyper focused for like, I don't know, 5 hours or whatever. And I was like, yeah. So those 3 sessions were my time.
Were there other volunteer roles that like you were like, man, that seems like the better move?
No, I think I was happy to announce, like, again, like I initially was like, oh yeah, I'll like go do the front desk or whatever. But like, that seemed, like fine, but also just kind of like not necessarily like,
you can say boring. It's okay. You can say boring. It's
well, especially in the beginning, I got there early and like, I was like, how can I help? And they're like, everyone's signed in, everyone's waiting, we're just hanging out. I was like, okay, cool, great. And then it wasn't until like 15 minutes before when I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's time to get started.
Do you are you competing in any meets coming up?
So I'm on the wait list for WSO. I apparently waited too long. I dragged my feet, and I don't think anyone anticipated it selling out as quickly as it did. But I'm on the wait list.
I did.
Fingers crossed.
This is a tough spot for us. We would love to see you compete, but I personally would love to see you announce, mainly so that Abby can maintain some humility, Can we do like a would you guys be open to like a co-announcing session? Like
absolutely.
Like when people do like rap battles, I feel like that could be you guys.
I think that'd be so fun. I'd rather like co-announce than like battle though. That would be fun.
Agreed. Yeah, Abby, we don't need to battle.
Abby, next week's poll. Do you guys want to see Kristen and Abby co-announce, or do you want to see Kristen and Abby announce battle? Announce battle? I don't know. We'll work on it. We'll work on it.
Like, if I don't end up lifting, like I'm definitely gonna go because like half of my gym is gonna be competing. So like I will definitely, like be there to support, and I might as well volunteer. If I'm not lifting. But then it'll be, like I don't want to be biased, but I'm like, I didn't have any home lifters when I announced at my home gym. So WSO will be a little bit different because all my friends.
And now you know that you can be as loud and as cheerful as you'd like to be.
This is true. It'll be my second time around
here.
Yeah. Cool.
Abby, what do you think? Is she worthy competition? Are you still as nervous as you were when we started this show?
Once again, I don't view Kristen as competition. She is a colleague, if nothing else.
I want you guys to start like a weightlifting announcers association.
How many are there? Like,
so when we ask for volunteers, like the stuff that fills up, I feel like we get people who want to load, we get people who. Refereeing is also kind of a tough spot to get filled. I feel like people don't want to announce. And I think a lot of it is just like that, like it's your voice, you're standing there drawing attention to yourself. Like, and I feel like people are worried about not saying the right things, or saying it wrong or whatever. And I feel like that's one of the harder positions to fill just because I think, not everybody is accustomed to being on a stage, if you will. I know you're not literally on the stage in this case, but like you're the only one people are hearing,
Yeah, for sure. And it definitely seems like the announcer is like running things. Which feels wild. At least as someone who had no idea what they were doing. And like, I was also kind of glad that I like couldn't really see like the crowd, like people watching. Cause I feel like that would have been like added pressure. It's like, I could hear everyone, but I could really just see like the lifters from the side.
That's so funny because I felt the opposite way. I was like, dang, I wish I could work the crowd right now.
Interesting. Cool. Well, maybe I'll feel differently if I do it a second time. Because I think definitely the first time I was just like so just like a deer in the headlights. And you
Yeah.
know, as I got used to it, it was okay. But yeah.
And then, unless
So
we dramatically
it's
change,
better when you have a co-host. Sorry, go ahead.
you were cutting out there.
Oh
What were you
no.
saying?
Oh no.
Abby?
Fuck. You're both gone. Oh, there you are. There you are. Kristen's there. There's Steve. Okay, sorry guys. I didn't mean to derail us again.
All right. What were you saying, Abby?
I was saying it's easier, honestly, I feel like when you have a co-host. Like I hadn't done it with a co-host, and then when I did the live stream commentary at the Arnold for You Saw, and it was like me going back and forth with Chad Vaughn or like you know, whoever else was helping out, like I felt like it's easier to have more of a flow. You kind of can be a little more conversational about what's going on. And when it's just you talking to yourself, essentially, like it is uncomfy. It's awkward. Like you feel like kind of a crazy person because you're like, okay, is anyone out there? Is anyone actually listening to me? Is it just me? Like, so I do echo that sentiment. I think you'll have more fun with a co-host, even if, you know, even if it wasn't your second time around or not.
Yeah, because I was definitely like sticking to like the basics, as in like name, gym, what's on the bar, done.
Right.
Basically, like, and talking to the loaders. Like, I actually think the loaders have a very stressful job. Like that's a job that I'm like, no, thank you. I don't know. It just feels like, because you're just like sitting there and then like you have to move so quickly, and I don't know. I don't want to do that.
Well, we'll take all the help you can get. If you want to announce, we'll let you announce. If you want to, I don't know, perform halftime entertainment, we can come up with something like a skit. I don't know if you're into doing skits. I don't know. Abby, I don't know if you watched our last episode. Eva Katsaros is going to be having a rope pull competition in the parking lot. We got her to commit to that. No, I still feel like that's a good idea, Abby.
She was in my DM saying, no, stop with the rope pull. So I don't know, might get axed.
What a wasted opportunity. Anyway, hopefully you get off the wait list. Believe it or not, Abby and I have no pull there, and we can't get you off the wait list just by like snapping our fingers. But I don't know. Hopefully that works out. And if it doesn't, or even if it does, you know, we would love to have you announcing or helping in some other way. But thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, Kristen. And sorry, I almost forgot. I always end this way. Do you have any questions for us? I love ending this way because I never prepare our guests for it, and then they're like, I don't know if I'd have time to think about it. Maybe.
Well, okay. Here's a question, and this is more like advice, maybe. So okay. So I'm on the wait list for WSO. If WSO doesn't happen, we are looking for another meet to go to qualify for Masters Worlds. So I'm basically like, even though I'm waitlisted, I'm basically just like training as if like I am basically. So again, I will say that this is just my first year of like just lifting. So I feel like even though I've been doing it for a long time, like via CrossFit, I still kind of feel like a baby lifter a little bit. Like it's kind of a weird, I know you guys like get that. But I am basically like, I think I'm close to qualifying. I have to drop a weight class because the weight classes got switched up. But do you have any advice? Do you have any advice as someone who has just been lifting for a year, who is pretty close to qualifying, but is not currently waitlisted? Like any like mindset or training tips or just like general advice?
Abby is a far more accomplished actual weightlifter than I am, so I'm gonna let her go first. So Abby, what do you got for her?
The first is, you know, aim for it, but don't make it everything this year. When I was in my first year of weightlifting, in a similar position to you, where I was on the cusp of qualifying for AO finals, in my first year. And it would have been a stretch. It would have been a stretch, but I made a ton of progress over a very short amount of time. And my coach was like, all right, like, let's take a crack at it. And we did like a last chance meet in October of that year. I ended up bombing out. It was my first bomb out ever. And one of the things that I learned from that was, you know, it would have been very nice to make finals and it would have been nice to qualify, but it didn't negate all of the progress that I made along the way because I didn't. And so I would really encourage you to, you know, really cherish the progress that you're making now, whether you do or don't qualify for Masters in December.
Mm-hmm.
And mine actually, I think goes hand in hand with that. I think the easiest thing to do when you've got a goal is to focus on, especially in weightlifting, because it's all numbers based, right? Like you focus on the number. Like I've got to hit this qualifying number. I've got to add this number in the snatch to this number in the clean and jerk, and so you hyper fixate on the numbers. And I think, especially when you're going through a training session or on the day of the meet, you're warming up. I think sometimes lifters can focus too much on the number that they need to hit, like 7 or 8 or 10 lifts from now, and they don't put as much energy and focus into the next lift. The only thing you need to do every training session or every meet day is just make the next lift. If it's the bar, then put everything you've got, all your bandwidth, all your focus, all your energy into making the bar as good as you can. And then if your next number is 35, then everything you got into making 35. And if you can commit to that and just focusing on putting everything you've got into the next lift that you have, whatever the very next one is, the results take care of themselves because you'll be in a much better position to execute more efficiently, more effectively when you finally get to whatever that number is that you're like, all right, this is the one I really need. You'll be better primed to do that if you've had, locked in performances and execution on the way up.
Yeah, I think that's great advice from both of you. Thank you. I really like,
Of course.
I don't know, just like, it's just whatever the next lift is, like, just go for it.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, Kristen, thank you again. Abby, thank you for something. I don't know. We're still fighting. So you know what? No, thank you. No, thank you, Abby. But to everybody else, that's another show. That's the end of our show for this week. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Everybody have a great time doing whatever you're doing this summer.